Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next guests believe strongly in the power of meditation, but not as the only tool. Let's welcome Nisha Woodhouse and Becky Moeller from Lifehouse Body and Soul to give us the whole story. Welcome,
Hello,
welcome.
ladies.
Thank you.
This is so exciting. I need a little meditation in my life.
Yeah, it's just some decompressing.
Yes.
You guys are perfect at that. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. By the way, I know Nisha. I've known Nisha for a long time. She's one of my neighbors. And Becky, I've known for several years. And just the absolute best, smartest women you're going to find. Absolutely, yes. Yes. No pressure. Now go. Now tell us.
Okay, well, so Becky and I met her, I own a dance studio too, Lifehouse Performing Arts Academy, and she brought her girls to the studio probably 9 years ago. And so we kind of knew each other through that relationship as the studio owner and a parent. And we kind of just got each other. And a lot of the work and the way that I run the studio, I just felt like Becky really understood. And about 3 years ago, she approached me after a show and asked if she could meet with me. She was the chairperson of a foundation and wanted to kind of pick my brain about some things. And I said, sure. And she actually brought a book over that she had written about trauma. And I started reading the book, and there were so many things in our lives that were just parallel as far as things that we had learned and the journey that we'd been on. And we formed this really amazing connection. Mm-hmm. And I had an idea for a long time. I had an eating disorder for a long time growing up, and some body trauma from my childhood. And I always had this idea in my head of a program called Lifehouse Body and Soul that would be run out of my dance studio. That was a place for people to come and experience like fitness, but from the inside out. So a way, instead of taking a class and having it be about what it looks like and how much weight you're gonna lose and all of that, just about what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, the way your body feels. Movement as a way to nourish yourself and to release and cultivate energy. And then just teaching principles that would help people to be more aware of the relationship that they have with their body and with their life. And, but I was already like working full time, running a large dance studio, and that project kept being pushed back because of bandwidth. And so then Becky and I, when I was reading this book and found out she had taught fitness classes for years at UVU and BYU and had run their programs, this little ding, ding, ding started to go off. And so I just started to talk to her about this idea that I had. And she was like the perfect person. And it took maybe a year and a half of talking. She was involved in other things. And then just space opened up in her life. And she called me one day and said, let's do this. And I just feel like Becky, it's like she's taken this idea and just really spent so much time and energy the last 14 months. And it's just incredible what's happening. Like, I am just beyond thrilled just to be a little part of it and to see the potential for impact that this has in so many different areas.
So tell us a little bit about you and your journey too towards Nisha.
Yeah, so I have taught, I started in Spanish Fork. The reason we live here is because I was an intern at Spanish Fork Middle School way back in the day.
Wow.
And I taught English, and then I started having babies. I moved home, but we'd moved our family to Spanish Fork, and then I started teaching fitness at UVU and BYU. So I taught fitness there for 15 years, and as my family's growing, I get to just be a part of Nisha's dance studio. And what Nisha does over at Lifehouse Performing Arts is just
It's unique. It's unique for a dance studio.
Absolutely. And every time I would go to one of her firesides, I was like, we are living the same life. Like, whatever she's
Soul sisters.
We are soul sisters. And she didn't really know that I felt that way, but I very much felt that way. In fact, this is a funny little bit, but I went into labor right before a fireside, and I asked the doctor if I could please go because I was like, I don't want to miss the fireside. and he let me. So anyway.
Let's pause. What is a fireside? Because that might mean different things to different people.
Yeah, well, if you think about like how firesides actually started, I know it has a religious connotation, but it's, I think it was started by one of our U.S. presidents. I can't remember which. He would call it a fireside, and it was just a gathering of people to talk about truth or like an uplifting principle. And so I had experiences with dance where I was able to just share something that I believed in or truth through movement, and it was so powerful for me to experience movement in that way that I wanted to have an opportunity for my students to do that. So I started writing these shows that would be around a principle. So, like for example, Arbinger Institute, I love their principles, the Anatomy of Peace, and so we did a show around that principle, and then create like dances and stories and video and stuff that go along with that principle.
So it's like, it's a show.
It's a show.
So it's not like, let's go listen to a lecture. I just wanted to clarify that. 'cause
music
you're
and
saying
dance.
as a fireside. So sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Continue.
And it's something that you can learn from,
Yes,
and it does. It's really uplifting.
And the kids are performing.
And the kids perform. Yeah, the kids
So
dance.
it uses dance as like a vehicle to teach a principle. So
Yes.
I could tell we were on the same page. And then my life kind of took a dramatic shift. I kind of went from being like a juggling mom of, doing the thing, running on the treadmill of life, and then just experienced a big trauma in my marriage. And suddenly I was flat on my face, I was flat on the ground, and my whole life changed. And then my life just became about like learning how to get through the day and learning how to cope with my reality and all of the stuff inside me that brought up. So I got involved in 12-step and worked recovery for betrayal trauma, and then I became involved in helping run a foundation, SA Lifeline Foundation, that helps women in betrayal trauma and men who struggle in sexual addiction. And I wrote their manuals, I created curriculums, and I wrote my own book about my experience, which is why I took to Nisha, which was totally random. I just felt that I needed to take her that book for no reason.
But you have the English writing experience, and then you have this experience
in fitness,
to connect the
you
dots.
have all these pieces that we're seeing just come together.
Yes, and the group healing, like knowing how to facilitate 12-step groups. So the program we've created to get this Lifehouse Body and Soul is really a place where you use the body to move through trauma, to move through emotions, to start using the body as a spiritual tool and a way to address mental, emotional, spiritual wholeness, and
like healing
and
too.
healing, absolutely healing. Yeah, because I recognized myself moving through my trauma and teaching fitness throughout it, that the way I used my body in class was helping me move through the trauma. Even though that was happening intuitively, I didn't realize what was happening. When I would come home from class, it was like, okay, I can function in a way I couldn't function before I went to class. And so recognizing all these different pieces, and then yoga and meditation came into my life, like it just became a whole thing. And so Lifehouse Body and Soul is the kind of culmination of all these separate pieces that have really only been possible through life experience, and then a lot of really beautiful mentors and people that have come into my life and have shown me a different way of moving through life.
I love when life naturally ebbs and flows and puts you into connection with people that then you can reach out and help other people with those gifts. And I think that that's what those trials are all about, is taking that and then adding to it and learning and growing. So if people want to participate in the class, tell us how they can and what that looks like.
Yeah. Our website's lifehousefit.com, and you can sign up for all our programs there. We have morning classes that are the exercise, movement, meditation, yoga, Pilates, lots of cardio too. And then the evening courses is a curriculum that will move you through week by week. Really, the curriculum takes the whole school year. It's like a lifestyle. It's like plugging into a lifestyle and a community that's going to help you heal and find your best self and find wholeness and healing in your life.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah, it really does.
It's not just like going to Pilates once a week.
No.
Okay, it's all about
It's connecting
everything.
the mind
And
and
the
the heart and the
meditation
body.
is such a big part of it too.
Learning to meditate.
To rethink the way you see things and to work through with your body. I love it. I love it.
It's deep. I think a lot
It's
of
very
women.
deep.
Is this just for women, by the way?
We've piloted our women's group's been the full year, but we now have a men's group and a youth group, and have had such positive feedback from both.
Oh, good.
For men, like, this is such a space that is so needed, and there's
Yes.
not really a space
Because they're not
for that.
supposed to feel.
Yeah,
They
and
just
so-
deal with the same
absolutely.
problems we do, but then
And they keep it
Absolutely.
in. They don't
Absolutely.
talk about it.
And
a
the
lot of
men's group
times.
is facilitated by an incredible man who's a meditation teacher. He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah, so it's all men. It's a place for men to come, kind of talk about real stuff in a safe, healthy environment and learn to meditate.
I think our world needs more of this. I think
Absolutely.
it's a really mental place right now for a lot of people.
Can we have you guys back?
Yes.
We would love
I
to.
feel like we just
Like,
skipped the surface
Yeah,
of
we
what
should
you
have
guys
set
are
you
about.
up for more. So
Yeah.
let's have you back for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, Nisha, this is going to be fun to watch it just explode because
From
you
an
said
idea.
you're excited to see where it's going to go.
Where it's gonna
I am
go.
too.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
you're so
Thanks,
welcome.
ladies.
Thank you.
There's more studio chatter coming up.